The man who came from the past, a real case of a time traveler according to claims. This is one of the greatest mysteries, and man has always had a great interest in this subject, to the point that it became a priority for modern science. In fact, in the last century, it has had a great influence that we find in novels, films, and television series. From the perspective of science fiction, we can appreciate how time travel theories are used on a more or less familiar recurring basis, with the use of some kind of time machine. However, although it's not possible to decipher this mysterious element that can make someone or an object travel through time, there have been many stories of people who have claimed to have traveled from the present to the past or the future, in most cases always by accident. But this story that follows is one of the most incredible in relation to time travel and will surely impress you. This case concerns a subject that appeared in the city of Kiev in Ukraine on Sunday, April 23rd, recently, 2006. People walking on the street noticed a guy looking around. He seemed lost. He seemed disoriented and suspicious, so the witnesses immediately reported it to the authorities. The police picked him up, and at first they thought he was just a tourist who got lost in the country. And when the police asked him what he was looking for, this guy mentioned the name of a street that no longer existed. And then the police officer, surprised, immediately asked for personal identification. At that moment, they could never have imagined what would follow, as the facts showed that the man came from the Soviet era in the 1950s, and his name was Sergei Ponomarenko. This could not be happening, the police officers thought, and chuckled among themselves, and believed that the guy was crazy, so they decided to move him to a clinical center to be seen by a psychiatrist. While the man was in the clinic, witnesses there noticed that the guy was very nervous and kept repeating, "I am confused and I need help." At one point, Sergei asked the doctor what day it was, and when he replied that it was Sunday, April 23rd, 2006, Sergei claimed that he had an impression that it would be Wednesday, April 23rd, 1958. The psychologist who attended to him said that Sergei only had a disorientation disorder, and that was something relatively common all over the world, and said that these symptoms could be caused by some unresolved childhood trauma. But the strange thing was that Sergei managed to give very accurate information about the date and place of his birth. Moreover, Sergei said that on the last day he remembers, he was walking around the city when he suddenly managed to see a strange flying object shaped like a bell. And most incredible, Sergei had managed to photograph the UFO with his old camera. The doctors were shocked by what they heard and immediately rushed to a photography expert to confirm the fact from the camera he had on him. The photography expert was very surprised to see the type of cylinder used in the camera and said that it had stopped being manufactured in the 1970s and that he could not understand how it ended up in his hands, especially without all the evidence that indicates its age, given that such reels did not last more than 20 years due to the chemicals with which they were manufactured. When the photos appeared, they were able to confirm that they all concerned the city of Kiev, but for the 1950s, among which they could identify a woman, but even Sergei himself in the same clothes he wore in 2006. But the most amazing image was the one where they could see the unknown flying object that was shaped like a bell, as Sergei said. Finally, Sergei suddenly disappeared from the room he had been assigned until his case was resolved. No security camera was able to capture the moment Sergei escaped, so both his appearance and disappearance remain a complete mystery. Please leave your comments about this, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.